The morning of March 18, 1925 dawned like any other spring day in the American Midwest. The sun climbed over the horizon, casting a warm glow on the rolling farmlands of Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. Children played in farmyards, unaware of the danger lurking in the skies. Farmers tended to their fields, anticipating a bountiful harvest. The air was calm, almost eerily still, a stark contrast to the tempest brewing miles above. Unbeknownst to the unsuspecting people below, a volatile mix of warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico collided with a blast of cold, dry air sweeping down from the Canadian plains. This clash of atmospheric titans created a breeding ground for powerful thunderstorms, a volatile cocktail of wind and precipitation. As the day wore on, the sky darkened, transforming from a tranquil blue to an ominous, bruised purple. Yet life went on, oblivious to the impending doom. Farmers continued their chores, their movements mirroring the slow, deliberate pace of life in the rural Midwest. Children, their laughter echoing through the stillness, remained engrossed in their games. No one could have anticipated the fury that nature was about to unleash, a storm of unprecedented scale that would forever etch its mark on the heartland of America. High above the unsuspecting countryside, the clash of air masses reached a fever pitch. The warm, moist air, lighter than its colder counterpart, was forced upwards, creating a swirling vortex of immense power. This rotating column of air, a nascent tornado, began to descend from the storm clouds, an ominous funnel-shaped protuberance reaching down from the heavens. At approximately 1 p.m., near the small town of Ellington, Missouri, the tornado touched down. What began as a swirling column of dust and debris quickly transformed into a monstrous funnel cloud, its roar deafening as it ripped through the countryside. Trees were uprooted, their trunks snapped like twigs. Homes were reduced to rubble in the blink of an eye, their remains scattered across the ravaged landscape. The tornado, a force of unimaginable power, carved a path of destruction through Ellington, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. But this was just the beginning. Fueled by the volatile atmospheric conditions, the tornado grew in size and intensity, its appetite for destruction seemingly insatiable. It was about to embark on a rampage, a 219-mile rampage that would leave an indelible scar on the American landscape. Driven by winds exceeding 300 miles per hour, the Tri-State Tornado, as it would come to be known, raged eastward across Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. It moved with terrifying speed, averaging 60 to 70 miles per hour, giving those in its path little time to react. Towns and villages lay directly in its path, their fate sealed by the capricious whims of nature. One of the hardest-hit areas was Murfreesboro, Illinois. A bustling town of over 10,000 people, Murfreesboro was caught in the heart of the tornado's fury. The storm roared through the town with a deafening roar, reducing homes, businesses, and schools to rubble. The iconic Logan School, a symbol of pride for the community, was reduced to a pile of bricks and mortar. The tornado's path was a scene of unimaginable destruction. Trains were lifted from their tracks and tossed aside like toys. Cars were transformed into twisted heaps of metal. The air was thick with the smell of splintered wood, pulverized brick, and the sickening scent of death. The human toll was catastrophic, with entire families wiped out in an instant. The Tri-State Tornado's reign of terror lasted for an excruciating 3.5 hours. By the time it finally lifted near Princeton, Indiana, it had carved a path of destruction over 200 miles long and a mile wide. The storm claimed the lives of at least 695 people, making it the deadliest tornado in U.S. history. The sheer scale of the disaster was compounded by the limitations of the time. In 1925, there were no sophisticated radar systems to track tornadoes, no early warning sirens to alert the populace, and no widespread understanding of the destructive power of these storms. People were caught completely off guard, their vulnerability magnified by the lack of preparedness. The tornado's exceptional intensity, its rapid forward speed, and the complete absence of a warning system all contributed to the staggering loss of life. It was a confluence of factors that transformed a natural disaster into an unprecedented tragedy. The tri-state tornado, while a force of nature, exposed the vulnerabilities of a society ill-equipped to deal with the unpredictable fury of the natural world.